Hey, this is Eric, and I'd like to talk today a little bit about private label rights, or PLR, as it's most often referred to in our industry. Now, most of you watching this video right now are probably already familiar with PLR and other types of licensing opportunities that we often see in our industry, like resale rights, master resale rights, private label rights. And so you probably have some experiences. Maybe you've bought some of it, maybe you've sold some, maybe you've used it in different products, different ways. And you probably have if we were to do a survey, you'd have vastly different answers and experiences about how it's worked out for you. Some very good, some not so good. And unfortunately, PLR has gained a bit of a bad rap in our industry over the last few years, largely because of the quantity, the plethora of low-quality material that's been produced mainly by outsourced, low-wage earning workers, most of whom are not English first language, yet they're writing articles and books and things like that in English. And so we have a whole bunch of, I guess, what people would call PLR junk out there. However, I really want to make the case that just because there's a bunch of junk out there doesn't negate the value of using private label rights material in your business, and it doesn't eliminate the possibility of using it in some very high quality ways. And so I actually want to give you a bit of a case study today of a magazine that I came across that I think we can learn some things from, and that we can apply to using PLR material in our own businesses. And so this magazine is called Breathe. And my wife introduced me to it because she bought this at a grocery store and, brought it home and read it. And then, a few days later, she says, hey, check out this magazine that I got. It's really cool. And what she liked about it is that it was very simple, and there was beautiful illustrations on each page, and there was no advertisements. And so I'll try to give you a little bit of a look at this magazine here. So it's called Breathe. This is the well-being special. It says wellness, kindness, mindfulness, inspiration. And there's the back cover. It's basically just a collection of some of the illustrations that are inside of this magazine. And you open up the magazine, and it just has a very short welcome letter on the first page. And then it has a table of contents, which also is very simple and formulaic. Each one just has the page number, the title of the article, and one sentence, like synopsis or teaser for that particular article. And that's it. That was the table of contents, and then it jumps into this almost 2 pages of almost blankness. It's just a very basic illustration. But it's something that, the target audience really finds beautiful. It's kind of got that Instagram effect. It's really, it has a feel to it. So, this is the next illustration on the next page. And really the format of the whole magazine is like this. It'll have a full page illustration, whether it's a photograph or a graphic illustration. And then it'll have a full page of written content as an article. And as I opened this magazine, when my wife mentioned it to me, so actually the first thing I noticed was the price. I'll mention that before we get any deeper. So the price of this magazine was $14.99 US, I think plus tax on that. So $15 or $17.99 in Canada. And that's kind of expensive for just a regular, paper magazine. You can go to Barnes & Noble and get a hardback, book for that price. But this magazine, in the grocery store was $14.99. So, it's not just your typical monthly, $3.99 magazine. This is a kind of like a special edition, but it's the regular size of a magazine. It's not any thicker than a monthly magazine. But for whatever reason, which I would soon discover, they're able to charge a premium for it, which, from a marketing standpoint is pretty interesting. And so the next thing that I noticed about it is that the articles were very simple, very basic. The layout was very simple. Like I said, basically a full-page illustration followed by a full-page article on each page of the magazine. And I noticed that there were not any author names really prevalent. There are some articles in here that have the author names in very fine print, and it'll be like sideways, right in the very margin, giving a little author credit. But many of the articles in here actually have no author credit at all, which is interesting. It kind of makes you think of PLR, and so immediately I was like, well, this is pretty cool. My wife just bought a $15 magazine at a grocery store that's basically comprised of PLR articles. And then, so then the next thing I looked at, of course, was some of these illustrations and pictures. And basically, almost every illustration in this magazine is from stock photo sites. So, like right here, I don't know if you can read that, but it says Shutterstock, photographs from Shutterstock. And throughout this magazine, you can find the same thing over and over again. It'll say illustration, shutterstock.com. A couple of them are from Alamy stock images. I would say the majority of them are Shutterstock. So the publisher probably has like a membership to Shutterstock, to where they're getting X amount of images per month or whatever for a certain price. But I thought that was pretty interesting too, because it's an example of something that is really it's curated. It's not like you had a bunch of staff writers, that are researching and writing these articles and writing to put their name on an article. These are not celebrity authors. They're not necessarily experts in their field. This is the well-being edition. So there's a lot of stuff in here about, like it says, wellness, kindness, mindfulness, health-related things. But I don't see any articles in here by doctors, for example. And so, a lot of magazines, really would focus on more the academic side, and they'll try to bring in doctors and this and that, or maybe they're more focused on the entertainment side and they bring in more celebrity authors or authors that are well known, or authors that are trying to get their name out there. And so of course they've got their name is going to be right there, underneath the headline of their article. Well, in this magazine, there's none of that. Not only is there not any advertising, but they're not advertising any of the author or illustrator names either. They've really just given the minimal credit where is necessary. And I think that we can really, take a page out of this magazine, so to speak, and learn as we create some of our own products in various niches. This is something that is very, very much niche based. That's why they were able to, sell it in a grocery store and attract people like my wife who are interested in this wellness and mindfulness and inspiration and all that kind of stuff. People who are interested in beautiful things. Here's an article called Made in India. And, it's stock pictures and a ghost-written article. And so that's where I think the value of private label rights really comes in, because you can curate high-quality private label rights content and turn it into a high-quality product that appeals to a niche audience. Whether any of these articles in here are actually, quote, what you would call PLR, I don't know. I didn't go and Google them to see if I could find the same articles online or anything like that. But even if they were, I think it's safe to say that really wouldn't have negatively impacted my wife's positive experience with this magazine. She still would have enjoyed it just as much. Even if these same articles had appeared online, syndicated in 100 different places, it wouldn't matter. She still would have said the same thing about this magazine. She still would have said, hey, this is a great magazine. It's simple. You learn something from each article. It's got a beautiful illustration on each page. Had it been, again, syndicated or PLR articles from all over the web, it really wouldn't have mattered. What mattered was that it was good quality, and it also has that aesthetic. So both quality in terms of the writing as well as the graphics and the aesthetics, the design layout. And it does have a small credit section here in the table of contents that has a copyright and gives credit to a few people like the designer, the publisher, and a few people who are in charge of the editorial content. And then the next thing I noticed about this credit area is that it said copyright 2017 Guild of Master Craftsmen Publications Limited. So it's a British company. And so copyright 2017, and yet my wife bought this magazine in 2019. So I went and looked at the front cover again, and it says a reissue of the Breathe Special Edition. Okay, so again, I find that very interesting from a marketing standpoint, because not only were they able to create this magazine and publish it in 2017, but apparently it was successful enough that they're able to reissue it and are selling it, in grocery stores in the United States and Canada. And I also went to their website, which I'll show you in a minute, and learned a little more about their company that I think is going to reveal some things that, again, we can learn from for our own business. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a screen capture video for just a minute to kind of show you these things that I discovered about their company and how they publish and some of the things they're doing, and then just kind of tie it together with a couple of action steps that you can take for your own business. So here we are on the Breathe Magazine website. It's breathemagazine.com. And you can see the sort of the look and feel is similar to the magazine itself. Just very clean, basic, got some just nice, pretty illustrations. And you got the contact information down here. So it's created by GMC Publications in the United Kingdom. And I like to click on the About to find out more about any company, of course. And what we find if we click on the About is, again, just a very sort of anonymous feel. There's no names or pictures or anything here. It's basically a ghost-written publication, and almost like ghost published in a way. There's no credits here. This is the About Us page. You can subscribe to it in print. You can subscribe to it in digital. You can order some of the back print issues or order the digital back issues. They also have a teen version, Discover Teen Breathe, and then they've got some of their latest articles online as well. And then this up here is basically the same navigation. They do have a submissions tab to where people can submit articles and illustrations as well. So not only are they curating content from ghost-written sources, they're also probably getting most of it for free because people will submit stuff just because they want to see it in print. So that's very smart as well. Click on the magazine tab here, and you can see on this tab, on this page, some of the issues. They have 19 issues that they've published now, and I think that probably does not count perhaps some special edition issues like the one that my wife bought. And then I discovered they've got some other products as well. So if we click on any of these magazines, it will take us to a page for that particular issue. So it's like an archive for each issue. And on that page, you can order it. You can buy that back edition. So, this is definitely, information marketing. This is an information product. And, let's say if you want to go and buy it, they are using a service that looks like called pocketmags.com. So if you click to buy it here, we'll just do that. It brings us to Pocket Mags. We're on the apparently the UK version of the site. They do have a US version as well. So it looks like just to order this digital issue is about £6.
to order an annual digital subscription is £55. So, that's a pretty significant price for, just a digital magazine. Jumping back to their website here, another thing that I noticed that I want to point out is that they are distributing this pretty widely in stores. So this is Breathe is available in the UK, in WH Smith, Waitrose, M&S, Sainsbury's, Tesco, and other major news agents. And then US and Canada about a month later in Barnes & Noble, Whole Foods, Joann's, the airports, Books A Million, and in Canada and Whole Foods, and Indigo Chapters, Press Commerce, and Michael's Craft Stores. So it is getting some significant distribution as well. I think my wife bought it at Sprouts, just some grocery store. And so I wanted to check a little more into this GMC Publications, and so I found their website. They've got the GMC Group. They also have one called gmcbooks.com. So this is gmcbooks.com, and you can see some of the sorts of niches and things that they publish. It's mostly in like the arts and crafts industry. And one thing that I also wanted to point out about this is that these are basically evergreen niches. Okay, that one that my wife bought, the well-being special, is essentially an evergreen topic. That's why they were able to take a magazine that was originally published in 2017 and publish and sell it again in 2019. Okay, so there's a lot of value in choosing evergreen niches, evergreen topics. Over to the gmcgroup.com, you can see some of their various products. They've got stuff about jewelry making. That's basically an evergreen topic. Okay, that's not really going to change from year to year. How to draw. Okay, that's very evergreen. I mean, that lasts for centuries. How to make birdhouses, creative lettering, knitting, wood burning, botanical baking, organizing wisdom. And these are, for the most part, very evergreen topics, which means that they can sell these for the long term. And so, I've emphasized that before, when talking about niche selection. If you can choose an evergreen topic, it's great. Now, there's, of course, very good and legitimate reasons for choosing non-evergreen topics, because some of the topic of the day, the hot topics of our culture and society, the ones that are in the headlines right now, are also ones that are getting a lot of traffic and attention and can make a lot of money in the short term. So, yeah, there's certainly legitimate reasons to go for those types of topics and niches as well. But again, if you're looking for a long-term sustainable business model, evergreen niches is a great way to go. Lastly, let's jump over to the Breathe magazine social media sites here, just to kind of see what they're doing on social. And so Breathe magazine has over 10,000 people that like it and follow it. So that's not bad. They've got a rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on the opinion of 127 people. So that's pretty good as well. And it looks like they get some decent interaction on their posts. So they had like 46 likes on their recent post and 7 shares. Before that, they had 43 likes, 5 shares. And, people are recommending this magazine. Just like my wife said, it was a good magazine. These people are saying great magazine, insightful, intelligent, and thoughtful. Looks great, easy to read, helpful, encouraging. I love this magazine. It makes me calm after reading it and is beautiful. And lastly, we'll jump over to their Instagram. And on their Instagram, they've got 27.8 thousand followers, which is not insignificant. There's definitely bigger Instagram channels, but that is a very solid niche following. And again, their Instagram channel is branded very similarly to what we've seen in the print publication. It's these sort of just simple, beautiful graphics. Looks like a lot of them are just like pictures of the magazine itself, and then some of them are illustrations that you would find in the magazine. So like if I click on this one, this has 594 likes. And they give credit to the illustrator here. So I'm guessing, it's probably an illustration that was submitted to them. They probably didn't even have to pay any royalties to publish that. All right, let's click on another illustration here. You can see this one says illustration from Shutterstock. So, they even say it right here on their Instagram, and that's got 316 likes. All they did was take a Shutterstock image and throw it up on Instagram, and they're getting good results. The other thing I noticed is that they're having they're having some guest artists that basically come in and post stuff on their feed. So it says artist and illustrator Anissa Banks is taking over our feed this week. Stay tuned for more insight into her work and process. So in other words, these artists are getting some exposure by taking over the feed. But the brilliant thing on the part of this publisher is that they're getting free content, without having to do any work. They can just turn it over to an artist. And this artist, you can see posted several illustrations onto this feed. And I can almost guarantee they didn't have to pay anything to publish those illustrations. All right. They're doing it just as sort of a trade-off. And that's another great example of a way to get content for your business.
So as you've seen, this is a magazine that is something that you actually could create. Okay, it's was created by a small staff. I would say they certainly do have some talent. Okay, they were able to curate and put together good quality material and choose appropriate illustrations to accompany those articles. But it's not anything that is going to be, so difficult that you wouldn't be able to put together something similar in your niche. And you could do that using a variety of different tools. Microsoft Word is really, you can create something like this with Microsoft Word. It's not going to be the most user-friendly for formatting like a magazine, but you definitely can. If you're a subscriber to Adobe Creative Cloud like I am, you could use Acrobat. That's the PDF creator and editor, and that's what some magazine publishers use to create their magazines. You could also use an internet marketing tool like Scribble. That's one that I had done a review on a while back, and I'll link to it if you want to go check it out. Check out the review that I did. I think that was last year. And it's a tool that basically allows you to basically create something like this, just in a digital format. If you, with the upgrade to Scribble, I believe they give you about 100,000 access to about 100,000 PLR articles that you can pull from to create these, ebooks or whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're creating, lead magnets or whatever. And so you can instantly curate these PLR articles on niche topics, and then you can basically drag and drop images, public domain images, or if it's images that you've personally licensed into that magazine format. And you can see, like in my demo, I created a lead magnet in a matter of minutes. But what this shows me is that it may be worth it for some of us to spend a little more time on turning PLR material into something that is beautiful and higher quality. So, rather than just putting in the bare minimum amount of effort and, using a tool like Scribble to create an ebook in 5 minutes, which is possible, take an hour, heck, take a couple of hours and, make it really nice, take some time on the formatting, so that you've got something that looks a little more like this, okay? Because this is something that, not only are people buying it, but they're buying it around the world, and they've got raving fans, and people are very happy with their purchase, just like my wife was when she bought it from the grocery store. She thought that was $15 well spent. And so, I think it's worth taking some time to create something high quality. And, whether that's, an hour, a couple hours, even if you took a couple of days, a magazine like this, I'm sure took, a significant amount of time, significant amount of man hours to put together. And just in terms of all of the layout and formatting and all that stuff that makes it look nice. But again, it's not rocket science. It's pretty basic stuff that I think most of you can do. I think we just maybe need to devote a little more time to that quality component. So hopefully you've gleaned some tips from this. I think it's just really interesting stuff. It inspires me to keep creating high quality stuff and putting it out there, and with the private label rights material that I'm producing and selling, to really strive for high quality, and just realizing that there is a lot of value in that, and there's people making a lot of money with that kind of stuff. So keep working hard and create high quality material, high quality content and products in your niche, and I think it'll pay off in the long run. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Keep going at it. Keep